Hey, get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight.
Eunice Rodriguez, 17 years, proud Teamster and member of Local 237 rank and file.
Give our Teamsters a choice.
And I am a proud delegate for the Tom Leaving Strong Contracts, Good Pension Slate.
Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up.
Today was the opening day of a Teamsters Convention in Las Vegas, where, indictment or not, Williams appears certain to be officially named president of his union. There is a small dissident faction here which calls itself Teamsters for a Democratic Union. That faction has its own candidate for president, Peter Camerata of Detroit. But his supporters make up only a handful of the 2,300 convention delegates, and his candidacy represents more symbolism than threat.
And the king of the hill is Roy Williams, newly elected president of the 1.9 million member International Brotherhood of Teamsters. His election was assured before the convention opened, but it wasn't the slick, automatic, almost rubber stamp convention operation for which the Teamsters have become known. Diana Kilmurray is a Teamster, a heavy equipment driver from Vancouver, British Columbia, and she is also a very active member of Teamsters for a Democratic Union, or TDU, the most visible of the dissident movements at the convention.
I didn't indict y'all. I didn't say you were all a bunch of crooks. I don't think that. But what I do think is that we've had a few rotten apples before, and if you're too damn scared to have an ethical practices committee that you yourselves, the General Executive Board, will control, then my God, you must be up to something.
I would like to see an ethical practices committee that would prevent the TDU and their magazine Convoy from printing all the lies and distortions about the officers and members.
The dissident leaders were pleased that the level of opposition to their movement, as shown in these cartoons passed out at the convention site, seemed far stronger than was needed to defeat any TDU proposals. The TDU opposed salary increases for union officers.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, motion is carried.
Teamsters President Roy Williams will now make $250,000 a year with an unlimited expense account. The TDU proposed direct election of union officers by the rank and file. Under existing union rules, convention delegates elect the president, and many of them are appointed, not elected. The TDU also wanted the right to elect local business agents who are now appointed by the Teamsters hierarchy. They lost that, too.
Your Constitutional Committee recommends that delegates no longer will be elected. Is that democracy? Is that democracy? That's in the constitutional recommendations presented here today.
We need the right to vote. We need the right to elect delegates.
I am so happy to see this open political debate. I think this is what the Teamsters Convention is all about, and I'm glad to see all of the candidates supporting it on their literature. I am proud to second the nomination of a man who thought that this was a good idea not only today, but also in 1986 and in 1981, who stands for the right to vote, who always has.
The 1996 Teamsters Convention in Philadelphia. Hundreds of delegates came to support proposals by Ron Carey to unite our union and strengthen our fight against corruption.
The Teamster Union reversed a 16-year loss in membership. 16 years!
Junior Hoffa and his running mate Bill Hogan Jr. came to the convention determined to use mob rule to derail reform. Hoffa said at a fundraiser on Sunday night before the convention, "Don't bring your spouses and children because it's going to get rough. By Wednesday, we are going to force Ron Carey to shut this convention down." They booed and shouted down speakers from the very first minute, even booing school children as they led the Pledge of Allegiance. Kerry supporters won several votes to punish local union officials who misused dues money or discriminated in referring members for jobs.
And you offer delegates ought to hang your head when you walk out of here if you don't do the right thing on this.
In 1996, you said you would quadruple strike benefits without a dues increase. That was your plan, your secret plan. Be honest with the delegation. Be honest with the delegates. Your current secret plan is to hold a special convention after the election and raise dues. Be honest about it.
The IBT has 141 officers and staff who receive a multiple salary from the IBT. Previous administrations didn't cause the IBT to raise your salary or pay multiple salaries. We can't blame them for this one.
When General President Hoffa ran for office, he promised in writing that there would never be a dues increase without a vote. It was a good promise. It's a good Teamster principle, one that will make our union stronger because we'll show our members that we trust them. There is one fact that everyone in this room knows. Whether they admit it or not, the members back home support this amendment.
Shame on you for playing politics with our family, with our union, with our children, and our future.
You talk about holding corporations accountable to our union brothers and sisters and in their corporate boardrooms. Why not set an example for our members with accountability of our pension trustees? After all, it's their money.
Members are mad and they want change. Change can be positive or negative. Negative change is when members say they will go along with the company in pulling out of the pension fund. That's our challenge. We need to rally our members to defeat that. And this motion helps us do that.
All my life I have opposed TDU for their bullshit that they're pulling here today.
To those of my fellow delegates who choose to oppose this common sense amendment, remember this. What happens in Vegas doesn't necessarily stay in Vegas. Your members are going to want to know.
I have the honor of seconding the nomination of Sister Sandy Pope, someone who is a role model for me and other Teamster women.
I don't think we should debate the constitutional proposals that will govern our future at this critical time with name-calling or arguing about who did what in the past.
I've seen her courage this week. When she faced abuse and slander, she stood firm on principle, but put our union above the politics. Her approach as General Secretary-Treasurer will be a lot more open than what I've seen at this convention.
And by God, we got our enemies out there. You know, we got their enemies. You know what? The Hoffa administration is going to knock them on their ass, and they can kiss my ass forever.
The decision about the future of our union is in members' hands. I urge every Teamster to make your voice heard in this election process. Hold Teamster leaders accountable. Demand that we answer your questions. And get involved turning out the vote for the candidates that speak to your concerns. I stand here as a nominated candidate for Teamster General President. But this is your campaign. Get involved, and let's put the power of this great union to work for the members.
Get up, stand